30th of October 2023. It's a cold and damp day in the Lowveld. Extremely cold for this time of the year. Maximum temperature reached 13 degrees. That is cold for the Lowveld. But let's get to some hot stuff. This news flash, I'm going to talk about the EFF. Before I do the news clips, I want to mention some stuff that you should think about. The first thing that I want you to consider is, why was the onslaught on COPE so violent and vicious and destructive? Because when COPE was formed, I was very happy because COPE offered a realistic alternative to the black voters specifically. Although COPE also got good responses from white voters. To me, I thought, at last there is a valid opposition, a real opposition for the ANC, with a real alternative for black voters. But that COPE was too dangerous to XXX. And they instructed their puppets, ANC, to make sure COPE fails. I am still convinced Shiloh was planted in COPE with a single mission to destroy COPE from the inside. And that is what happened. And then comes the EFF. And you have to ask yourself, why did XXX allow the EFF to take root and establish themselves? But I'll tell you why. First of all, the EFF is not a danger to the ANC. Secondly, Julius Malema is solid in the pockets of Renwick, and by his own words, he gets a lot of financial support from the Zionists. So, in the end, the ANC is XXX's A-team. COPE was a factor that they could not handle and could not allow, and the EFF is a XXX B-team. So they don't care if EFF grows or what, because they know they've got full control over the EFF. The EFF will do exactly what they tell them to do. Now, that may make you frown and make you think I'm crazy. You must think about that. But the activities and the actions of Julius Malema is sometimes absolutely astounding. What is more disturbing is the fact that thousands of people hang on his lips. And lately, I have seen some disturbing stuff. Black guys that I'm talking to and so forth, the things that they say about the EFF, they really see the EFF as a potential new governing party. They see Julius Malema as the President of South Africa. I just have to shake my head, because the guy is definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And but he's a very good orator. So he can whip people up. And if you listen to the things that he can today come out with a absolutely mind-blowing statement, and just tomorrow he will contra that. He contradicts himself sometimes in the same day. And the way that he's handling things, one of his big weapons is this land issue. Now, unfortunately, he is totally uninformed on the land issue. The numbers and the ideas that he is spreading to his followers is pure, unadulterated bullshit. But they swallow it because they cannot think for themselves. And they live in this dream world that Malema can make them all rich. While the reality is, Malema is slowly but surely destroying all of their lives. He has got a big hand in destroying the education system. He whips his followers up and they burn schools and they destroy schools and all of that. They're also big in promoting undisciplined actions by the students. Look at how they are fucking the universities up. There's no room on the university campuses for education and getting people qualified. No, that's bullshit. University campuses are for politics. Now, sometimes I want to become very depressed when I see these things. But on the other hand, the sooner they burn down to ashes, the sooner we can start rebuilding. Listen to this from Sirkabona Alfred. He really flames it. Julius Malema and his family are in Paris, but back home he told the EFF supporters not to watch the rugby final between the Springboks and Swartkant. And then this meme accompanied the post. What do you choose? EFF racism or Springbok unity? Well, it's an obvious choice, but not for that uneducated following of the EFF. And then there was this meme. And this was published by the EFF. Fighters, rugby is a sport of white people. Do not watch rugby. How's that? That is not what you do if you care for the country. That is what you do when you've got another agenda. And lo and behold, look at this. Mr. Rabbit tweeted, breaking news. Julius Malema's Alzheimer worsens. He is experienced greater memory loss and other cognitive difficulties. Can he still run the EFF? And he then included these two memes. Fighters, rugby is a sport of white people. Do not watch rugby. And then the EFF comes out with this one. Congratulations, Springboks, 2023 World Champions, by the EFF. How is that? How do you make sense of this? But let's step off the rugby. Let's get to something else. Listen to this. This is an EFF fighter that tweeted this. Woolworths must really not test us because we have learned from Clicks and H&M. This time we're going to fill our trolleys with groceries, stand in the payment queue, let the cashier ring them up and then tell them that we forgot our bank cards at home, leaving the goods just there. Listen to that cleverness. And then SA Mum replied to that. So you are going to punish the cashiers and shelf packers who spend their time ringing up the items and then will have to repack items back, almost which are majority black people. Wow, that is showing you guys are as sharp as marbles. Now, as I've said, destructive, that is all their activities. They destroy jobs. These actions that they want against Woolworths and against McDonald's, they don't care how many jobs gets lost because they've got a good track record in destroying jobs. They've destroyed thousands of jobs. But that doesn't bother the EFF supporters because they are all on grants. They only fuck the working people up. not the freeloaders on grants. And then we get to this one. Sir Kabona Alfred again. Julius Malema and On Point Engineering looted 152 million rand meant for a bridge in the exact same spot. This has nothing to do with rugby. And that was in a reply to a tweet by Battalion 54, EFF. As long as black child is not free, don't tell me about celebrating rugby. Fucking dimwits. That is what it is. But they want to run the country. They want to run the country. And this bridge thing, nobody corners it. Just as nobody makes big noises about what the role the EFF played in the VBS fuck-up where old people's pensions were stolen. Here the money was taken to build a bridge. That is what's left of it. The first rain and that bridge was gone. Alright. And then we get to this. This is not EFF. This is from our Minister of Finance. But it is directly in the EFF camp. If we don't do anything, we won't have money by the end of March in Godongwana. And so it is. That's all, folks. Properly decolonized. Something to celebrate. And I'm going to end this, show you this image. That is what the EFF plans for South Africa. That is the EFF future. Look at it, think about it, and shudder. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.